Hey guys, Mike Ortiz here, and I'm going to show you a faster way to make money on YouTube as opposed to the standard methods that people use to try to become a YouTuber and crush it. So there's a lot to get to today. I'm going to first start with this step-by-step guide of finding the tools I use. I'm going to go over some tools I use step by step with regards to finding the right kind of content to create, and then how to use YouTube in a different way to get those crushing leads and make money like everybody else is talking about. Make money online. But this is a unique way I'm going to show you one by one the actual steps. And first and foremost, obviously you have to have a YouTube account, right? But you don't have to be a YouTuber. I'm going to just put that right up front. You don't. The key is, though, using YouTube for what it's worth until you eventually do become, maybe that's your vision, that's your goal, is to become a YouTuber. Awesome. We use it regularly with multiple channels. We've done, I think we have like 12 different YouTube channels. And the key was just to be nailing it with regard to what the topic is, the uniqueness about the channel that you want to create, being the brand, right? And also being unique and always using YouTube for what it's worth, because we don't just go to YouTube and post stuff. It's with intent, right? So I start out with this right here, this sheet I created it for you. I'll definitely put a link in the description if you want to grab a copy. And it's basically a step-by-step guide on researching, right? Getting the right type of YouTube topics. And right now I'm in the studio, right? We're just going to get prepared for even some new video. But before I even get going, I literally stop and say, okay, we're going to jump on our favorite tool first and foremost. Number one tool we use is the vidIQ. And I'll put a link in the description as well to get going. You can do free or paid, either way, and they're both awesome. But the paid obviously has some advantages. The one thing I will say, and that is right off the bat, once you jump in here, you're going to see some new things that they've brought on, especially for the paid side, is finding trending keywords, get video ideas, which you can truly like nail it just right there. Find trending videos, what was like popular, what's happening in your own niche, and understanding that's first and foremost is big. But generating video content as a whole, right? You're just wanting to get video content going, right? Especially with YouTube. But the one thing I will say, there's an advantage to taking steps to use this tool the right way, as opposed to just trying to go on random. And when you log in, you can start going through the process of staying on this left menu, and it's a good step-by-step of itself how to use the tool. Obviously today is where you start, then you start to go through it. You can optimize your own videos. You can go through and start generating new ones, which are like, I'm kind of not sure about what I should create today, or you don't have inspiration necessarily. You're like, what should I do? And you can start here by doing that. You can actually start putting together an outline, some titles, thumbnails, descriptions, and outlines to do it. It'll do it for you, right? There's also a thumbnail creator, which I'll show you a different tool that we actually use on a regular, besides Canva. I mean, obviously Canva is the best way to finish things to touch and make sure it looks awesome. Both my wife and her team does amazing at the brand side, so we don't lean too heavily on some of these other tools or this one, but you can get going if you want to just get started. The keywords tool is awesome. So you're talking pretty regularly about, hey, I know, I mean, I could just use a couple of examples of guys are literally talking about their business in concrete and flooring. So say they want to know what's the latest on concrete flooring, and literally have a company that's like giving tutorials open inside garages as they're doing them, right? Which is pretty cool, specifically for like showrooms, things like that. So I can just put showroom, right? And then leave it at that. Just go straight for the kill, right? Just enter. And you'll see some of this stuff that pops up. So it'll first of all give you, what does that look like if someone's searching, right? What's that look like for that keyword? So, and it's obviously related ones you'll see right here on the right. You can also go to related here, matching terms, or questions around them. And I always say go to questions, because people typically will say, what kind of product should I use? If I'm going to do my own epoxy flooring, what brand should I use? Things like that, if you get into depth. But it's telling you right there, because it says we can't find any questions around concrete floor and showroom. That's fine. So then if I take that off, let's see what happens there. So we'll go to that. It actually jumped up a little bit. Related keywords again, flooring, polished concrete in different places, locations, right? But if we go to related keywords, then it'll list them out, on a full. I guess you could like start here, but I would fine tune, obviously. Matching terms, and that's a big deal. You can really see what is really high, what people are really going for. Project estimated concrete floor, which is a huge one. We've worked with clients. Our client literally has taken this to heart. What kind of content means the most? And then you can go to questions, like I said, because that's where people find the win, because people are asking questions around this. How, and it's funny too, because it's not always perfect English. Whoops, go back. Sorry about that. So that I clicked on that, but it actually took me to the search, right, of that specific term, like it's obviously a long tail keyword. Which is crazy. How to nailing hardwood flooring to concrete floor. So someone wants to know, but that's a pretty like instant way to find out what really are people searching, and what are the key questions around this. So I would say, let's do this. We'll do epoxy flooring, right? Just start with that. And that's usually pretty awesome. Like you'll see some high, intent with regards to types of searches going on. Related keywords, again, you get a full list here, and the list just keeps going and going and going. So that's your difference in finding the right keyword that even people are not using, but it'll show you an overall score here as well. It'll give you that whether or not it's a high volume, right, competitive. Overall search though is 36. So you're talking like mid to low. And then it just keeps going from there. So you can search and kind of scroll this and see like, okay, this is a low, very low actually, decorative concrete, which is interesting. It's got a 1.5, right, out of these related scores. 5.9 and higher, obviously, you're talking really highly related to this specific root word. And then search volume, right? What kind of volume it has behind it, and number of words. So there's long tail keywords or just individual. Looks like tops off at 3. Here's a 4 and 5, right? And sometimes that's the best way to go because you're actually looking at stuff. So if I click this one and maybe this one, the how-tos are pretty straightforward. We understand what that looks like. They're also very high intent. So high search volumes, not very high, but high. The average number of that is so-so. It's not the bit, but I will say people aren't just typing in epoxy flooring. They want to know specific things on YouTube. So you're going to get a term, right? But typically a long tail term of how do you do something specifically, or why is this kind of product, things like that. And then, or the expert. They want to find out from the expert who's already doing it, right? That's their intent. So how to epoxy garage flooring, pretty clear. Now, if I click that, you'll see what populates. So it drops obviously to 38 overall score. It's a medium search volume and a high competition. So super high competition. I probably wouldn't go that route, but the further you go, the better, along the same kind of matching keywords, you can start to see there's view 54. You can go through the whole list. There's questions around that, which is really helpful to really kind of identify what should I be focusing on when I want to create a video. There's also, if you scroll down here, you'll see trending videos for this type of epoxy flooring, and all look like they're shorts. Pretty interesting. We've seen that again with our client as well, doing really well with shorts. Quick, easy, simple, show some work being done, things like that. Effective, super effective. So that's just one as far as keywords. Now I'm going to jump to outliers. I want to show you something. This is where you'll not only get inspiration, but you will get what it is you specifically do in your niche, right? And find the outliers. I think it's way more important than spending a lot of time in keyword search. I would spend like 50% there and then 50% here, which is why I put that in this document, right? So you're going to go to it, grab the extension, either the free or the paid. You can always go and upgrade, right, for the outlier score, because this is what's going to give you more insight. So curate your YouTube feed after that, which if you're just using your channel and the free version of vidIQ. So for example, I'm going to jump over here really quickly. And here is another tool I'm going to get into in a little bit. And these guys dropped an awesome video explaining it. I'll put that in the description as well. But it basically covers a lot of, like, say I'm just going to go for digital marketing. Okay, they're a great company. But if you can see right here, you're just in the top ones are usually sponsored. And below that, you're going to start seeing specific numbers. And you won't see these numbers unless you already have a couple of tools that I'm using, like the up here on the right, you'll see it on my dash. Keywords everywhere. Absolutely encourage it. I will put a description link in the description if you want to grab that. The vidIQ, like you was talking about, right? There's a couple others that I use. LastPass, definitely encourage LastPass if you got operations going with a team, you want to share information, keep it very secure. And video speed controller. So I use video speed control on a regular, and that's a huge part of, like, when you're digging into research, you're not going to watch necessarily the whole video, but if you get this video speed controller, you can speed up any video you play. You'll see this little timer right there. Without grabbing it, it'll take me to the video. But this one by Neil Patel, with his 1 million and 3 million subscribers, he's got plenty of subscribers. His all average, the VPD, is pump, and it's not bad, right? 3,600. VPD here is 1,000 from our boy Wes McDowell, but you'll see the difference. So learn digital marketing as opposed to marketing right here on the actual title. It's interesting what they put in their thumbnail. Marketing is about to get wild. And this was 4 months ago. We're talking 2 weeks ago. But the key I was telling you about is views per hour. So you can use this tool, right, the vidIQ, to see exactly where that 67 views per hour, 28 views per hour. You scroll down, there's another video that's paid. There's some shorts. Wouldn't get into the shorts when you're looking for research, right? But you can tend to see, like, okay, where are guys getting a large amount of views? Now that's great, but it doesn't tell you the outlier score is 23. Yeah, that's the key. So I would say 20x, 3x, 13x, 12x, pretty high. Crushing it. That. But when it comes to the tool, that's the key. You can do it right here. Digital marketing, right? I'm just going to throw that in there. That's the niche. And same thing. We'll see what the difference is here. We'll see. So see what you see. So vidIQ prioritizes, right? It'll curate, drop things that are happening already based on right there. Look at that, 100x. Huge. Digital marketing 101, which is a pretty straightforward. Obviously, he's got a little over 500,000 subscribers. So it's one video alone. And then look at the hourly, 65 views per hour. Solid, as opposed to what it looks like a duplicate, which is interesting. If you got one 2 years ago and then 4 years ago, still pumping views, really tells you something about that, as opposed to this video here, 8,000 subscribers, 100x, right, was solid, but there's no views per hour, right? It's not pumping hourly, which is kind of your tell. So with regards to going this route, I absolutely encourage using this tool to find some solid information to get those outliers, understanding what that's going to help you do first and foremost before you start planning and creating any video. It's going to make a difference. Then you got some insights, right? You take that and you put it on your homework. I'd absolutely encourage you, grab a Google Doc like this, start with this, put those links in here, drop the numbers, unless you've already got the paid version of vidIQ, right, which is fine. You could do it that way. And then just make sure you're tracking that, because this is going to be your key in understanding what the purpose of this is obviously to get these key elements, like the next step, which is a screenshot of those videos. So you just grab a screenshot of, like, say, for example, I really am into this one. You're just doing it with YouTube. And the free version, you're like, I like this version. I like this the way it looks, right? Or you like this better with the text behind you. I want to model that because this is going to tell you something as well. So when someone has a really popular video, it's not just because they, created something that's a hot topic. Topic is absolutely important, but then they've also put together how things feel, look, brand wise. They've thought through the title. It's not just a random title. They've put a lot of energy into that, right? Guys like him don't mess around. They give genuine feedback. They give you solid content, right? Rich content. So think about that. Now, because he's been in the game a long time, these guys obviously have a ton of subs and a ton of views. They also have hourly, and like I said, the outlier score is pretty solid. So, but the key, and again, going back to vidIQ, you can get all the information just right here. I'm using vidIQ for all it's worth. Then obviously say, hey, you know what? I like those. I've got some information. Now I'm going to sit here and crank out some ideas. And so when on the paid version, even if at the lowest tier, you can start to scroll and go through a daily ideas list based on things you've already populated in here when you first. I want to, look into this a little further. I'd like to find out what vidIQ recommends on a daily idea if you're looking for them, and then it'll even give you experiential, like if you're like, nah, I don't like these ideas, you can literally tell it and it will fine tune things for you as you go. So right here, what I've learned from epic marketing fails. So we've done videos like that. You can actually look on my channel and you'll see we've done a ton of stuff regarding epic marketing fails, brand marketing, right? Or even brand fails. So when they've actually built a brand that did nothing for them, as opposed to when we got to work with them and turn things around and see things from a different angle because they weren't expecting the stuff that we are actually pulling out of them. So our intent is we go deep. We don't mess around, obviously, and I'll just leave it like at that. But there's key. You can get so many fresh ideas, some very high, like you see here, and they're just on fire, right? But if you're like, well, I don't want a super highly competitive, I would much rather go and drop down to like the medium round, which I would say is a good place to start, right? High and medium, solid place to start with regards to ideas. And then you're like, well, I like this one, the outrageous marketing ideas that will leave you speechless. Pretty interesting, a little curiosity based, not bad. How to turn fails into massive wins for your brand. So that's another one we've done. And I've definitely seen the reason why, where most people are just looking for information and they're like, well, I don't really care about brands necessarily. I want to see how people are getting their leads, getting their, but brand comes back to that always, which I think people can either that whole argument of marketing or branding, which should I focus on first? I always say if you haven't nailed your brand, you don't know how to market. But if you market something like a product, you're doing affiliate marketing, you're doing someone else's, products, fine. Just get to know their brand, understand that well enough. So when you do market, things don't get haywire and fly all over the place. You have markers laid in, you know where you're going, and the marketing just follows that print. So not to get into it too far, but you can obviously start making a list of like, well, I like the Tom Brads do differently in 2025. I'm in on the outrageous marketing, but I'm not going to click that. How to turn these massive wins for your brand, right? And as I click, see it says ideas saved. So you can scroll back up to the top. I'll go to the saved ideas and it's all right there. So all this stuff, I've done a lot of research through this, but I also go deeper because so this is just a surface, right? It's top of the top. And then you're going to go a little deeper. So because of that, there's some personalized ideas. And I like this when it's like looking more to what I'm wanting on a regular. And it shows you the ones I've, as well as others that have been previously chosen in my saved ideas. So that's one way to start. Then you can start the create button, right? That takes you through this whole inspiration. Let's go. Yep, of course. So, and here's the key. It'll start loading up things, not only from the topic of the day, right? The saved ideas, it'll start dropping these preview of the topic, how to build a community around your brand online. Solid topic. I definitely am going to be doing videos on that here very soon with high level. Absolutely encourage it because it's one of the best ways to grow your brand as well as grow your audience, get your content in front of people, and get people to commit to something. And I would always recommend, this is another way, and I'm not going to tap into this on this first number one topic like I mentioned, hitting on something other than YouTube. You might not be a YouTuber yet, right? You want to be one. But I've found in many ways, I don't have a lot of subs. So I'm not hitting the millions and the thousands. You can see right here, vidIQ, here's our own channel, and it'll right here, 151 subs. But I tell you what, because of having a channel and the content we create, which is intentful, using specific type of languaging, our brand, our style, being genuine, giving stuff like it's supposed to be. Sometimes contrarian, I'll tell you what, we're not just like, oh, here's everything, here's it all, like here we throw up on you. No, we have an intent. We've done series after series after series. So if I go to back up to the top, I'll go to your videos, right? It'll go to this YouTube creator. And as you can see, like it's been a work in progress. Like we're not just doing this to do this. We've been doing it for quite a long time. And this is just one channel, like I mentioned, out of many. My wife and I have been putting out a ton of content on specific topics, long version, short version. We got it all. Our shorts are punchy. Obviously, sometimes I don't know, people don't like what we have to say, but we want to make sure that even if they're hearing in some fashion. It's going fast. It's in their face. And we're not getting thousands and thousands, like I said, views, but we're doing okay to the point of here's what. I say this, it's more important to get in front of the audience that you want to, even if it's just a few hundred views per week, right? And get started, get going. You're on your way to obviously your main goal, which is maybe to be a YouTuber. But the key is when you're playing the game right. YouTube is happy. Your new channel, if you are a new channel, you're going to get favor. Their newest algorithm, the way they're actually throwing stuff like this inside the actual tool, inspiration ideas to brainstorm on what to do next. Your title, they're going to tell you, especially when you have vidIQ plugged in, it'll tell you like work on this title, work on this one, maybe try this one. How about, what about ideas around this topic, and brainstorm, which is cool. So again, it'll give you some of that. You can do your lives. You can do different types of posts we've done, different playlists. We've built playlists like crazy and on purpose, right? Again, so with regards to ads, Maverick Mondays, we were doing marketing podcasts for quite a long time. Different ways to step up and be, bold about what you do. And you can actually change this to say 50. So if I show you that, right? So there's all different kinds of stuff. We've e-commerce clients we used to work with. We're not doing it as much anymore, but we did a series on that. We did a series on how to build your e-commerce with like a solid brand, marketing, where you're marketing. We actually obviously have done a ton of that. Our own adventures. There's times where we're just like, hey, let's just post this adventure. Let's go for like our trip to back when Star Wars just got planted on Disney, right? In the Disney park. Boom. We went and did this huge little like skit and had some fun, making it cool. And I mean, obviously the kids love the place. So we love to go as a family and made it just as adventure, right? Captured every little nuance and stuff and made a skit. Then obviously a Brave and Expand, we did a mini series, but we did a full series, right? Of videos on that live series, but about an hour long of each one, because we knew branding was such a big deal. We never budged on that, but it's something that made a difference on how people show up, right? So just so you know, and the community, right? Our community, it's not like huge, but it's growing. We've got people commenting, posting, liking, like all kinds of cool stuff. And it's growing for sure. And you can obviously manage everything from here, from your dashboard. And that's it. I won't go too much further, and they've obviously got some short features, give you insights from the YouTube team. You can manage all your stuff, see where your views are. Here's the thing I'm going to tell you real quick though. When you have vidIQ, and I'll go back to quickly, when you're seeing low numbers, I say this one itself, not doing well, how highly. And so something about it could either be the title, You can check the analytics, check the comments if there are any. So this one here is obviously 500 views. My wife cranked it out, did amazing. Top producers, hidden secret, simple, straightforward, but very punchy. And there's been comments. There's been, see, so this one doesn't have any comments, but it has 6 likes. Let's see, this one has 2 comments, 13 likes, which I'm wondering, wow, what the difference is, because it's not getting as many views. And it could be the title. We don't know. And what happens in here with vidIQ plugged in, you can see everything behind the scenes to give you insights, right? Is it the title? Well, 89 out of 100, right? Not bad. You can try new title. You can obviously upload a description that makes more sense. Maybe that's why too. I only put a quick line on this one, short and sweet, but maybe that's why. You can go up to 5,000 characters, and this could help you generate that, right? Based on the topic. There's also a searchable. There's what the term you want to be ranked for. I wouldn't put a lot of energy. I put some into this little box here, and then preview search results, which I'll show you in a minute. Optimize score out of everything, 85 out of 100, not bad. And then if you expand, it'll take you through this whole process of what to do to tweak it, make it better, right? The time to post. Overall for us, this channel has been here a while, so it's got the data. And between 3 and 5 is the most popular, right, during this time of day. You go through the process of making sure that's all optimized. You optimize your keywords, optimize tags, right, that populate in here. So these tags are also keywords if you really think about it. And then you can use the keyword inspector tool, right, from vidIQ to do that. Obviously your settings are important, right? I won't get into that in this video, but just a recommendation. So that said, I'm going to move on to the next tool, and that is pixels. So we've done some creation for our thumbnails using pixels. I can just crank it right here. You can do pretty cool things with this tool, but the one thing I'll say, it takes time to generate solid imagery that are like, I'll show you something from our last one. So please remove the people, create first. So you try to do things like, hey, let's just create, no, that's not it. That's actually more logo style. So you take an image, you populate it in here, and it'll suck that from it, take whatever's there, and actually start creating things for you, right? Based on what you say, do, right? You make the prompts, it fine tunes it, right? You name it. We've tried multiple types, multiple styles, just from a thumbnail perspective, we also use this as images that can be in the video, right? If it's a landscape shot, widescreen kind of situation, not the shorts, right? It's not for shorts. And that's what I'm going to tell you. Thumbnails, this is strictly for short, or for the long format, right? It's a great tool to create thumbnails based on, even like, say we'll just go, I'll show you this one for example. So I want to recreate a thumbnail. I want to use something like, let's go back to digital marketing, like this one. So he's got, a cool look with his face kind of confused, like, what? About to get wild, right? Or even, Neil Patel's, like I was saying, all you have to do, and this, I would never take and just copy that exactly, but you can recreate. That's what I love about this. You just take the actual video itself. So I can just go to right here, get the share, right? Hit the share button. I want to copy that video, drop that into Pixels. I'm going to recreate it like it says, link right here, drop that link into it for the sake of time. I'm not going to go too much further, but you can go very high in inspiration weight, meaning it's going to try to emulate that exact same thumbnail, or medium, where you can tweak it and change it a little more, refine it, or go really low where you want to take and then just use it like in Canva, right? I'll stick to medium, persona, news. So we're kind of like, without going too crazy, you can actually add a persona, right? Create that persona. You can actually say, what changes would you like? Well, I don't want him wearing a dark jacket. So put a white jacket on. Let's say dark skin, because it's dark skin, right? Skin male. That's pretty much it. I'll press generate. And it's not a huge, long time for them to happen, but it's also not as fast as I was hoping when I first jumped on the pixels. It will do its job, right? And it'll do a pretty good job. It won't do excellent. That's the one thing I will say. Still needs a little bit of fine tuning. It's getting better as it goes. It's already the 2.4 version. So there we go. Not bad. So then obviously I'm not that dark skin, right? So then you just fine tune it along the way. You just keep tweaking it, making that change. You edit it from here, right? I can swap my face if I'm like too dark, guys. So go light brown. So let's go make light brown. Oops. Instead of so dark, right? Let's say skin light brown. See where that ends up. I'll show you the results on that. And then we could do a swap of a face that it's not fully spot on, but it uses, and this is the crazy thing, it uses one of the best tools. The back end of this, the generator and all this is well known. So there you go, right? And say that's not bad. I mean, I do have a jacket like that. I have a white polo. So it could be me, right? No problem. I can see that. And then I just go and swap the face where I have to go and find a file off of my own headshot. So basically in pictures, I can go there. I can go and I don't think I have any headshots here. Let's just go with Dropbox. Let's go shot, right? Which make it super, super simple. There's my one right there, black and white. That might not work, but let's try this just to see how it turns out. Just for the sake of time, we're going to jump ahead. Generate takes 3 credits, obviously. So putting these other elements, and then when you start out your account, obviously I'll put a link in the description if you want to go with that, or obviously just start a new account. And I think you can feed your credits, right, based on where your budget's at. But it's cool just to give it a try. I highly recommend it. So this is going to do a face swap, and then we'll kind of like measure it out, like see what your thoughts. Again, I've done multiple, and they were okay. I still ended up having to go and use images that I've had before. It's not horrible. It's not the greatest, but there you go. So does that look like me? Not really. It's close. Not bad, close. I'm also not that thin, a little bit broader, a little bit bigger. Wider forehead, wider head. I don't have a shaved head, right? But you can always put a hat on it. You can fine tune this as you go. And if you like what you see, awesome, go from there. And it looks like it really did, even with the medium version, I will say, instead of high, when we first created this, or low, right? The medium version did that almost to the 9s. So you can see that again. We go back here. I'll close that. Look where it's at with regards to Neil Patel's thumbnail, right? So not bad, right? Not bad. And obviously did the prompts that I said, changed the jacket. I did swap my face, but again, what do you think, guys? Like, it's not a bad tool, very inexpensive. And then from there, I will usually take this, drop it, I'll download this right here. Whoops, download that, right? And then I'll save that picture, that image, and I'll swap out an actual image of me within like Canva or any other tool that you can do a little quick edits, Adobe, things like that. It works really well. Now, my next one, say here in Gemini, right? I'm going to go Gemini's newest tool, pretty cool, in AI Studio. Just make sure before I actually do this, I'll just do marketing, right? YouTube. So I'll put a YT for YouTube. Save that. Now I know this is the prompt. It's going to make me want to go log in. Yes, I'm logged in. So it's going to double check. Good to go. Then from here, just make sure you're using Gemini 2.0 Flash, right? Because we're going to take, and you can either go, when you jump in here, you can actually just type something or pick one from the prompt gallery. So what I'd say is test it, try it. It's pretty cool. I'm going to go and add my own. So images, videos, folders, right? We're going to take that video that I just uploaded. I'm going to upload a file, right? I'm going to go grab it from the downloads. And it's the Pixels one here. I'm going to go here, bam, and then run it. I'm going to say change image of, let's say, the learn in the background, text, learn to grow in bold font, right? White font. So it still stays the same. And we'll run it, right? Let's see what happens. It's fairly quick. They've done a lot of this tweaking and changing and helping things grow, but take a look at the results. Not the greatest, right? And it tweaked me, it took my jacket down. Not so good at all. So I would absolutely say bad response, right? Not factual, not helpful, not following instructions, harmful, offensive, answer too long, not following instructions. So something like that, just to make sure you're, getting the better response, right? As opposed to what we really want. Yeah. It might have been on me too as well. If you think about that, I want to make sure that I'm just changing the text, change the text behind me. So I'm going to go back to this, double check it. Yeah. So close. We're going to start from scratch. Instead of this, I'm going to edit that. So change the text. Let's say change the text, background text. That's what it should be. Background. Let's try that. Learn how, let's see what that says for us. And then, yeah, that works. Let's try that. I'm going to delete this one. So delete. And we'll go from here and then run. Let's see, branch from here. No, we'll just stick to that one. White font. Enter. Yeah, that's exactly right. So let's go this route. I'm going to copy it, right? And then do that one more time. Run the prompt. See what we get. See, that's better. So it's running it according to the prompts. You definitely needed to work on the prompts. I blew it by saying that because all I wanted was grow digital marketing, right? So again, I would have to go back, fine tune it, but you get the idea. It's not bad. It's free, right? It's another thing that's bonus on this Google AI Studio. Works well for what it's doing, what it's supposed to be doing, right? For free. So you can't beat that. Whereas Pixels is there's a charge for it to create those. And the only other thing I'll say with regards to AI Studio, you can test it before you get going, right? Go on to their basic chat. I can go back to the chat itself and start with edit an image of croissants, right? And they'll add some drizzle. It'll pre-set up these prompts. Then bam, you'll see the results. Not bad, not the greatest, but not bad, right? And then you can just keep going from there and practice on this before you start messing with any images that you want to. So with that, I will leave it. That is my second recommendation regarding changing things with like a thumbnail, which is very important. Like I said before, all the aspects to making sure the YouTube videos crush it is all combined, everything. It's the title, it's the description, it's the thumbnail, right? But you can get sucked in so far as opposed to just using some of these tools to save a ton of time. And with regards to videos, shorts is what I'm going to get into next. You can see the difference as well with using like just checking shorts alone, which we've done as well. Do your research, it's way worth it, and stick to this list. But I will say when you're ready to do shorts, I wouldn't just shoot a short to shoot a short. I would use some long content, create the shorts, right? Use shorts here and there if you're inspired, which we've done before. You've seen some of mine. But once you have this content ready, you're like, okay, I have everything I'm looking for regarding now having solid topics ready to go. I've got my ideas ready to fine-tune to something that's refined, right? We always say refine and filter. Review all your information, choose the strongest 3 to 5, and delete the rest or archive them, put them somewhere. In here, you can do that by saying I've got my ideas and my outliers saved, right? But I'm not going to keep everything. I'm going to go and discover why.
Why are they winning? What's the winning idea behind the content itself? Why is it have, how does it have so many views hourly? Why, how is it they've got this huge, 65 views per hour, and the fact that they're pumping, each and every one of these numbers are just going off. Then from there, I'll drop that into create. I'll start creating some stuff, but preferably, right? I'm not going to just ditch it. I'm going to go after and fine tune it so much so that I know these are going to win, because I want views, but I don't want to just be like, hey, I'm still not getting the millions and thousands, and it's not going to happen that fast, right? Not to bust your bubble, but it's definitely something where it's worth the time, because here's what pours out of that. When I've done it well, I'm speaking to my audience, right? And you get this fine-tuned process down. Your workflow is just creating more, get stuff more out there. I'll go on and knock every one of these off on the checklist, schedule, record, and edit the session once I'm done. Schedule the recording like I'm doing now, record it, get that done, and then drop that into YouTube. Post it and see the numbers. And I'm not just basing everything on numbers. I'm also saying, hey, you know what? If you're interested, reach out. If you're looking for a specific answer to a specific question, put it in the comments, things like that. So the intent around this is also to help my community, make sure you guys are aware of these things, like the tools I'm sharing, right? There's tools that are like affiliate, affiliate, I'm an affiliate for, but there's also tools that we use like Go High Level, not also an affiliate, but then there's reasons why, because those clients are saying, hey, they're using these tools. They're aware of these, how these work. I'm not. I'm just a business owner. How can I get this advanced, and how can this work for me? There's your in. We've seen clients come through it. We've seen other methods to be able to get paid, right, without just being a YouTuber yet necessarily. But the key, obviously, is regular, solid, rich content that's going to give massive value. And my last tool I'll mention, since I'm there, is this. So Opus Clip. So it's one of the best tools out there that can literally chop your videos, your long format. I'm going to go back to the home page. Oh, sorry, brand templates, asset library. Some of the stuff that we haven't actually used in quite a while. We have multiple accounts too. That doesn't help this. But say, for example, let's just go home. I want to take my YouTube video from, probably have to fast forward this, but this is my channel, right? I'll take my content, that's long form. So format, 97 views. One of my longest ones though is this one here. And I take and I copy that, boom, get the shareable link, and then I put it into Opus Clip. And it's such a long video. Boom, I'll drop it here, and it starts to literally get to work. I can focus in on specific keywords, right? I'll do auto, all clipping. AI clipping will do it for me. Find it based on the AI, which is, I did this whole video, long video on AI booking bot, right? And I'll just enter that keyword. If I want to add more, I can separate it with a comma, and then it'll range how long this video is. So 56 seconds is perfectly fine. I'll leave it to the max, right? And then quick presets, I can create a template that I'm usually used to, which is what we've done before, right? Save settings above as default, and then you're good to go. Get the clips in one click. That's all you do is hit go, and literally it'll start snapping these shorts into 12, 15, depending how long the actual video is. And it'll use 56 credits, right? I'm not going to do that now just because it's a beast. It'll put in some time. It'll generate those. You review those. Make sure the text, the subtext, because it'll populate the subtext like it's showing here. You can pick the font. You pick the size, color, all that to that, but you'll see it right here in the box without hovering over it. Keeps kind of wanting to do my thing. And that's one of our templates we've saved, and you're off and running. You get a ton of shorts, right? Opus Clip is definitely not a new tool, but I will say it's getting better and better. The further you go. You can go up to the pro version, absolutely worth it. So that's how you can get ton of videos, like 15 videos out of one long format, boom. So you can not only populate what's on YouTube with, fill your channel up with in the short form, no time at all. Just make sure that you take the time to do the ideas first, so that hey, this is what I'm going to feed my channel. And that's what I'm going to put in front of my audience. And again, because YouTube is actually favoring some of the newer channels just getting going, it's way worth your time for your business, for your brand, and for your growth of your other. Comes down to this, where a channel is you put the right energy into it for the purpose of the channel, right? And you want that outcome, the ROI on your time, the ROI of your investment that you put in, it's well worth it, especially with YouTube. Even if you're not a YouTuber yet, like I said before, but putting in the energy and research is going to pay off in the long haul. So again, hope this helps you guys. I'm going to cap it at that and leave you here. I pray, yeah, you guys have a great one and put this stuff to use. And if anything, again, like I said before, I'm more than willing to put in the time. You guys have specific questions around specific tools, go high level, right? Absolutely, we'll drop more of those. We got more up and coming videos, so make sure to hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell so that every time we drop a new one, you'll see it in your notifications, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great one, guys.